Hey, and welcome. I'm so excited to be here with you live today. It has been so long. Well, actually, if you're listening to this part, you're listening to the replay because it doesn't look like there's anyone here yet, but there will be soon. Deb is here. Hello, welcome. Welcome, Michelle. So excited to be here. It has been a hot minute, I feel like, since I've done, and Marie Elise, yay, since I have done and Jessica, live, Instagram live. I did them several years ago, every other month, and for the designers, I will pull you on one at a time, because I don't think I can have everybody at once, so yes, thank you for sending the requests, and then I can respond to them when we get there. So yeah, as I was preparing for hopping on here, I realized, oh, I'm a designer too. I should also probably talk about myself. So anyway, for anyone who doesn't know who I am Jessica. I'm the knitting designer behind Snickerdoodle Knits, and I also do a lot of other things. I'm a dabbler, so I mentor other designers. I've been doing that for 4 years. I just recently started another Etsy shop, doing other random stuff. Well, not totally random, but anyway, other creative stuff. And I'm pivoting in my business to help more creative entrepreneurs. So anyway, what I do is Snickerdoodle Knits. One of my passions is collaborations and bringing people together, which is 100% why I created the 2025 Holiday Gift Knitting Guide to help bring together some designers and yes, yay, thank you. And yeah, to just, we can all share each other, and you know, it's a networking opportunity, and it helps knitters get to know more designers, which is always fun. So that is why I created the guide. The guide, if you aren't familiar, you can go to snickerdoodlenets.com, and up at the top of my website, there's a banner that will bring you to the guide. So if you haven't seen it yet, you can do that. That's the easiest way to find it. Otherwise, in my link in my bio, you can find it, and probably in several other designers as well. So about my designs, I like to design engaging, fun knits that are really practical and easy to wear is kind of what I go for. And yeah, I have a range of accessories. I have a couple sweater patterns, and more recently I've been moving more into really intentional knitting, and talking about that in different classes and things like that. So very quickly, before we pull on some other designers, I did bring a couple of design samples. So this is my Any Yarn Brioche Cowl, and it's reversible. It can be literally knit in any yarn weight. So I have instructions for like 4 or 5 different yarn weights. Hello, Fasten Off Yarn Along. Cool to see you here. For anyone who doesn't know about the Fasten Off Yarn Along, that's another really cool collaborative event for designers and knitters to connect and make all the things, and pairs perfectly with the Holiday Gift Knitting Guide. So check that out too. Fasten Off Yal is what it is. The account is here. And then here's my Endurance shawl, which is just a simple garter stitch shawl, which is like my most worn and definitely one of my most popular patterns. It's just cozy and squishy and super fun. And then, so I think all of these patterns are in the gift knitting guide. This is my Cozy Winters Cowl, which is it's supposed to look like snow falling. So these are just 2 different samples. So it's like the textures in the pattern are like different levels of snowstorm. So we have like flurries, and then at the bottom we have blizzard. So it's just really fun, like potato chippy kind of knit. And then what I'm knitting on right now is a cowl that will come out in January, I believe. And it uses exactly the same stitch as this super bulky cowl that will come out in December, and it doesn't have a name yet. So that is me. That is Snickerdoodle Knits. That is my patterns. Let's talk a little bit more about Holiday Gift Knitting Guide, and then I'll pull on the first designer. We have, I think there are 4 or 5 designers who thought that they would be able to join us, so that'll be fun. So 2025 Holiday Gift Knitting Guide. It is completely free, available to anybody and everybody who wants to look at it. It's a curation of over 100 knitting patterns that I've organized into different categories. So we have like stocking stuffers. We have for sock lovers. We have for the outdoorsy one. We have for the understated one, which is in general kind of more unisex or even masculine leaning designs, because I know sometimes this can be difficult to find. We have kids patterns, we have shawls and everything. So again, if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. If you go to snickerdoodleknits.com, you'll see a banner at the top that will lead you to the guide. It will be like, hey, come check this cool thing out. And so there's 14 of us designers. That includes me, and over 100 patterns. And oh, of course, one of the best parts of it, one of my favorite parts, was actually kind of an impromptu ad later, is there's like some different games throughout. So like, you remember when you get like catalogs and things in the mail, or like, oh, what's the name? There was like a catalog for kids that was like educational, that's coming to mind. And like it would have like these different, activities that you could do inside of it, and it had like articles and stuff. Anyway, I don't know about you, but I'm the kind of person who loves to do those little puzzles and, word scrambles and word searches and things like that. So those are sprinkled throughout the guide. Plus, we have an exclusive discount that you can find the coupon code for in like the very front of the guide. And we have a treasure hunt throughout the guide. So I think it's 9 gifts that we have sprinkled throughout. So you just look for the icon of like the little gift present. And I have pictures of it at the front of the guide too, so you can see what it looks like. But when you click on the little gifts throughout the guide, you get free little presents from the designers. So that is super fun. Designers, is there anything else that I'm missing in the guide? Anything else that I should be mentioning? And then designers, do you have a preference who goes first? I know we have Jessica and Deb here that have requested to join. I'm guessing musical seamstress is Melanie. I don't know if you're wanting to join live or not. Discount. Yes, the discount is a 10% coupon code that is, it's included like on the second page of the guide. So, thank you. Yes. And that applies to all of the patterns in the guide. Alrighty, Jessica, do you want to go next, or do you want to hop on with me? Are you available? I'll go ahead and request you just because it can be a lag. Yeah, sure, perfect. I think I accepted you. There! Hello!
Hi, it worked.
Yay! I always love this part where it's like I have myself like positioned well on the screen, and then I add somebody and then it moves. Oh, it's so good to see you and to talk to you in like real life.
Yes, it's awesome. I love having this chance to connect, and just to be part of this amazing thing that you created. Like Jessica put so much work into this, you guys. Like it's not just like here's a bunch of patterns. Like it's curated by like the type of recipient or their things. I was when I was flipping through it the first time, I was like, this whole section about like for those who are always cold. I forget what you called it, but like and I have so many of those people in my life, and I'm becoming one of those people as I get older. And so like I love how you really put a lot of thought into it. And so it's not just like scrolling through thousands of patterns or hundreds of patterns on Ravelry. It's like just curated is the best word I can think of for it. So you
Yeah,
really knocked it out of the park, and you did such an awesome job. And I'm honored to be part of it with so many incredible designers, you included, of course, and everyone else. And it's just thank you for inviting me to be part of it. And I'm happy to be here with you all and share a couple of my patterns. I'm glad that you were chatting for a bit because I didn't remember that I should bring some of my stuff with me. So I was digging through the bin in my closet of finished projects so I could share some of the ones that were featured in the guide.
perfect, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, so um thank you for all of your kind words of praise. Yeah, it definitely was very intentional that I tried to make it that way because it is like it can be so overwhelming to go looking for patterns. Like even if you're like, "Oh, I have a vague idea of what I want." And then you're like, "Oh, there's 1,000 search results for this." Like
Yeah. And that's after you narrow it down by like recipient and yarn weight and yardage and all of those things. It's still overwhelming. And you also, I don't know what the right word to use is. I don't want to use the word that it's a guess. We won't say the word I was going to use, but you never know what you're going to get from a pattern. And so I love that you included designers that really put a lot of care and thought into their designs, that we're not just like typing up one paragraph of like a mishmashed pattern. Like these are professionally designed patterns, so you're getting something that your results should look like the pictures.
yes, yes. Yeah, that's very important to me as a designer. I feel like I mean, like I mentioned, I love supporting other designers and collaborations and all that stuff, but it's important to me that we share work that is of high quality and worthy of being showcased. That
Yeah.
that gives designers a good name.
Yes, absolutely. And because, I mean, for me, and I think this is true for everyone in the guide, if I put out a pattern that isn't tech edited, that isn't tested, that the knitter is going to struggle with, they're not going to come back to my patterns. They're going to remember, oh my God, that one pattern I had to rip out 6 times and ended up frogging it because it wasn't an enjoyable knit. So I know that's important to all of us too. So
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, even like an ethical kind of standpoint for us as the designers, I think we would all just feel guilty not putting something of quality out there.
yes, absolutely. It would keep me up at night.
Yes, yes. Oh, this is so fun. Okay, so go ahead and tell us, since we have a little bit of time because I think there's only 4 or 5 of us joining here for the live. You want to tell us a little bit about Double the Stitches and the brand? And I have to ask, of course, I already know the story, but for folks who don't know the story, how Double the
Yeah.
Stitches was named.
So my name is Jessica A's, and my brand is, as Jessica said, Double the Stitches, and we have great first names. I love our names.
I get
It's
told
fun
a
to,
lot that it's beautiful, even though it's so
yeah,
popular.
yes, I love. We send emails back and forth. Hi, Jessica, it's Jessica. So Double the Stitches is a name that came to me. I have twins, and they're 14 now, so they're grumbly teenagers, but there once upon a time 14 years ago they were adorable cute little babies who wouldn't sleep or rarely slept at the same time. And so in that newborn-ish baby stage, walking them up and down the hall trying to get them to sleep at the same time so I could get some rest. A thought came to me, one of those like sleepless nights that you tend to have when you have little kids, and I realized that if I ever wanted them to have handmade things, I had just started knitting at that point. I was a crocheter at that point, and I realized that if I ever wanted them to have handmade things, I was going to need to double my stitches, and so that became something that stuck with me and became a brand name that has gone through a lot of iterations. I started out where I was selling like finished crochet hats, like I did a lot of like sports themed color, crocheted hats and football hats and, pumpkin hats and all of that kind of stuff. And then that kind of evolved into creating hand knits for newborn photographers because I had made connections with some photographers when I had my kids. And so knitting these adorable like fuzzy alpaca and angora like bonnets and
Like
rompers and just
seriously adorable.
so cute. And they were great because it's a quick thing to knit. To knit something
Mhm.
for, a 7, 8 pound baby, like that doesn't take a lot of yarn. It doesn't take a lot of time, but I would get orders from photographers for like, I want that hat in, 5 different colors or whatever. And so it was a lot of the same thing on repeat. And then babies have their own timetable. Babies come when they want, not when the doctor says that they're going to come, and not when mom is tired of being pregnant and just wants to meet her baby already. So it was a lot of like 3 a.m. knitting to finish an order to ship it out like the next day because the baby came early. So that meant that the photo shoot that was supposed to be in 3 weeks, where I had plenty of time, is now in 2 days. And then I'm relying on the post office, which is never a good thing. Even, that next day delivery is never next day when you need it to be.
Yeah.
When you really need it to be because the baby's coming to the studio for pictures, it's 2 days. Even though they promise it'll get there, it doesn't always get there. So a lot of stress related to late nights and deadlines and post office and all kinds of stuff like that. And at the time, I was also working in my local yarn store, and I had been encouraged by the owner to start creating patterns because I was teaching classes and I was teaching people how to knit. And then they wanted to know, like, okay, I know how to knit in Pearl. What do I do next? And so I was giving them on a piece of paper, scribbled, like handwritten, a pattern for, a blanket or, a hat or whatever. And I was writing it out while they were there. And she pulled me aside, the owner, and she's wonderful. And she said, "This is just silly, Jessica." She said, "First of all, you need, it's great that you're giving them a pattern, a next step to do that's your creation, but you need to type it. First of all, you need to type it so that you're not taking up your time and their time to, handwrite your idea for what they could do next." She said, "And then let's put it on Ravelry. Like you can still give it to your in-person, class students for free if you choose to, but let's have some customers test knit it and, all of that stuff, go through the process and put it on a Ravelry. And then you can sell it to people you want to sell it to and to the rest of the world. And you can give it, if you choose, for free to your students, or you can charge them for it, whatever you choose." So that was how I kind of got into designing patterns in the very beginning. And then I took I then it was January of 2020 at that time, and I didn't know what was going to happen in March of 2020, the time that shall not be named. But in January, I said that was my New Year's resolution, was that I was going to pivot from selling my finished products, finished knits, into pattern design. And so that was a wonderful time to switch from relying on the post office and all of those things. I had my kids; they were in third grade at the time, so they were doing school at home from the kitchen table and the couch, and I was able to work on patterns in between, making sure that they were on Zoom for their next class at the right time, and all of those things. And it just kind of grew from there. I took a class with Francoise Denoy, who used to be a Rohan Knits, and now she's the Practice of Fiber, and learned a lot more about designing patterns that people want to knit, designing patterns that they can actually, knit from, all of that professional stuff that goes in. So that program doesn't exist anymore, but she's still designing and all of that stuff. So yeah, that's kind of my journey. But what's your journey? Tell us about yours. I know you said
Uh,
you're, bouncing around doing a lot of things, but how did you get started designing?
yeah, okay. So I started as an Etsy shop selling physical products as well and doing craft fairs. But I was doing super bulky. So at that point, I was living in Wyoming, and it made sense to be doing super bulky. Now I live in North Carolina, and it doesn't mean make as much sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got very tired very quickly of making the same thing over and over again. I've discovered I have this recurring theme of boredom. I yeah, like that's a big part of why I wasn't excited about following engineering after I got my degree in engineering because I was like, this is just too repetitive and boring. And that's why I decided to go into a creative field instead. So yeah, I started with the that, and at that point, I was starting to get tired and of it, but I didn't want to go get a real job. We don't have a lot of like job opportunities in Laramie, small college town. Um, and I was like, I don't have the space in our little apartment or the capital to invest in yarn dyeing, and there's no way I have the creativity to be a designer. So I just kept on with that for a while. And then, well, I guess it was 6 months after I started the Etsy shop that I released my first pattern. But basically, 2 months before that, I just suddenly had like 20 million design ideas pop in my head. And that's how I started designing. And then, I kept telling myself, oh, I'll go find. So I had been working as an interior designer, um, and I had done some architectural work. And so I kept telling myself I would go back into that. Um, but I just enjoyed working for myself way too much. And so here I still am 7 years later. So yeah, that's how I got here. And the name Snickerdoodle Knits, everybody's like, "Oh, is Snickerdoodle your favorite cookie?" No, Snickerdoodle's not my favorite cookie. I'm a chocolate person. But as I like to say, chocolate chip cookies knits doesn't quite have the same ring to it that Snickerdoodle does. So when I was creating like my business name, I really just wanted something that had like these really warm, cozy vibes. I'm like picturing somebody just like cozying up, on the couch with a cup of coffee or tea or whatever you drink, and yep, and some cookies, and just like feeling and like transferring that feeling into my knits. So that's where I came from.
Oh, I love that story.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's this sometimes stressful but mostly beautiful life, I think, that we get to create working for ourselves in this creative field, being able to to be there to greet the kids when they get off the school bus or walk home from school, be there in the morning to get them off to school, and be there when they call from the nurse with a tummy ache or whatever excuse, that so that they don't take the math test or whatever it is. Being able to be present in their lives, is an important thing for me. But in this world that we live in, it's hard to do that without bringing in that additional, income somewhere. That one income family for our generations doesn't, often, not say never, but doesn't often exist. And so if there's a way that you can take, creativity and turn it into a thing. And the thing I love about knitting is that it kind of uses both sides of my brain. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's creative, but it also uses, there's so much math. Oh my God. If my elementary school teachers could see how much math I do. um, yeah, so it kind of uses like all the different parts of the brain. And there's so many hats that we wear as designers too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I just sometimes days I just want to knit, but instead I have to build sales pages for Black Friday and schedule, social media content and emails and things. So some days the knitting goes on the back burner, but it's all for a good cause. And yeah. So,
Yes, yes, that was definitely one thing that I really loved about this work too. Like when I first started, well, one of my big kind of struggles, like with school and everything, was like I really enjoyed creative work, but I lacked confidence that I could be creative or anything like that. And I was always really good at math. I was like, and enjoyed it. And so it was always this like tug of war between those two things. And so then to be able to do that and like, I had interest in like, it's like, oh, do I want to go into photography? Do I want to go into graphic design? And then it's like, oh, wait, I can incorporate all these different things that I've been curious about before all in this business as well.
yeah, it's wonderful. And I saw Jackie. Hi, Jackie. I saw her in the comments. Thank you for the compliment on my patterns.
And then Deb, we were talking about getting started and stuff. Deb said her
Yeah,
plan was to cover her yarn costs with knitting revenue.
yeah. All right, so I know there are other designers here, so I don't want to take up too much time, so I'll just share a little peek at some of my patterns that are in the guide. Um, that I think are in the guide. Some of my patterns. This one definitely is. I saw it. It's a cowl. It has cables and some sections of stockinette, and they kind of alternate across. Now you can't see my face, but across the cable, and it comes in different sizes, different circumferences. So you can knit something that's a little bit, more cozy to the neck, or a longer loop. And I think there's like a kind of I think this is the medium size of them. And it's worsted weight, so it knits up super quick and is a fun knit. A little bit of texture and cables. And what else do I know is in there? There is my Atlantic Waves sock pattern. If you're a sock knitter, so they have a nice little texture. There's a bunch of sizes in there, so you can knit it. I knit one of the sizes for my husband. So it's not a feminine frilly knit. It's a knit and purl texture. And these are cuff down, and they have a gusset and heel flap construction to them. This hat, I don't know if it's in there, but I grabbed it because it's fun. It's the sequence hat. Um, and so it has this texture to it that is, it was folded in the bin, so it's not a seam, it's a crease. Um, and it's created with knits and purls, and it's the sequence of it that is in the ribbing on the brim is not a regular like knit one, purl one sequence. And then that same sequence, I think it's like a 12 stitch repeat. You add one additional stitch to it, and it sets the stitches off on a spiral. So you're still knitting the same repeat as you go around. And it was inspired. There's a book called Sequence Knitting by Cecilia Campos, I think is the author, I want to say. The book is definitely called Sequence Knitting, and I'm pretty sure that's the author's name. And I think this set is in there also. It's called the Unique Hat and the Unique Cowl.
Mhm.
And it is another kind of fun textured knit. So there's a hat, and then there is a cowl, and the cowl has a little bit of shaping to it so that it stays put. It stays up. It comes in a little bit, because when you have a cowl that is a tube where like the top and the bottom are even, sometimes it's a little we'll call it flops. I don't know what else to call it.
I like shaped cowls as well.
Yeah, so just it's a little simple shaping and a little trick that does that. And the last thing I'll show, and then I'll let you share with some other designers, is a coffee cup cozy.
Yes.
You could see the full stitch pattern there. So that was another one that's in the guide. And if you've never tried Fair Isle knitting, one of my things is that I like giving you like a small, easy project to learn from, especially if it's something scary. So this is knit in the round, and then it is steeked. So if you have visions in 2026 of knitting a sweater that where you're going to cut your knitting and steek it, uh, a little project like this is a good place to start, so that you are more confident in your skills when you get to actually do the big sweater. So,
Yes.
um,
That
yeah.
is.
All right, but I want to give the other designers who came a chance also. So I'm gonna hang out and chat in the comments, but I'm here watching and excited to be here. And thank you again for including me. And check out the guide is free. You don't have to pay for the guide. That's the thing I keep trying to remind people. Like, the patterns that are listed in the guide are for sale, but there's a discount, and the guide itself is free. So you're not making any commitment by downloading the guide, and then you can just pick the patterns that interest you.
Yep. And there's, if you don't like the idea of downloading something to your computer, there's also an online version from Canva. So,
Yes. Oh. I don't know how to leave. Do you know how to leave?
and let me see if I can remember how to kick you off. Oh, yep, I can remove you.
All right. Bye,
All right,
friends.
bye. Alrighty, and then I'll add Deb in because I know Deb is here. So I'm accepting Deb's request. And then do we have any of the other designers here? I'll check the list. I don't think I see anyone. Hello, Deb. I'm just gonna
Hi,
add,
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good.
So I guess Alice did not make it, and Carolyn was maybe. This might be all the time we have. We'll see if anyone joins later. Uh, oh, I don't think I've ever gone live with you before.
I don't think we ever actually have.
That's it's so fun to have a first time for everything, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. So tell us about yourself and about your design business.
Okay. So I started my life as a costume designer. So I have been drawing, making for most of my life. And then I had this career for 15 years. And then I got married and had a baby. And that kind of came to a grinding halt because my days were like 18 hours. So my friend taught me how to knit. And, I would try to learn something new from every project that I did. And I went on like that for about a year and a half. And then I just like, I would start making little changes here and there. And I took a design class at Vogue Knitting with Tin Can Knits. And then I took a drawing, like an intense design class with Josh Bennett. And he was super encouraging, and he was like, if there's a mistake in like if you find something in your design that you would change, like do it in the next one. Just like the most important thing is to just start. So that was in 2018. I went home from Vogue Knitting, wrote my first hat pattern, knit it up, and published it. And that was that.
So,
I called my business Late Night Knits because with the baby, he was not a napper. He has never been a napper until teenagehood. Like, praise whoever you worship. He's a teenager now and he takes naps. Um, so, I would parent all day, and then when he would finally go to sleep, that would be my knitting time. And like if I wanted to knit for fun, I did it then. If I wanted to work on a design, it was happening late at night. Like everything would happen late at night until he went to school, and then some of it could happen in the school days. So um, I keep it because it reminds me of my journey. Like
yes,
it's
I love
important to acknowledge where we've been. So
absolutely, absolutely. Like where we started.
yeah.
They're so beautiful. And I have to say, I always appreciate now people who just mention that they have a lot of time knitting little kids because like before. So for those that don't know, I had a kid last year, so he's a year and a half. And I always heard about all these people who like they started knitting when their kid was a baby, and knit them all the time. Started designing when their kid was a baby, and I'm like, I pictured all these people like sitting and knitting while they're watching their kid, and now I'm like, there's no way. Like he just wants to be up in the middle of it. Like there's no knitting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have
Um,
to appreciate people who acknowledge the reality of what learning to knit when you have a baby actually, or knitting a lot with a baby actually.
Yeah. Like my friend who taught me came over and made me dinner so that I didn't have to like be making dinner. And then he would hold the baby so that I could, practice. It was not like, oh, you've got tons of time now. It was more like you need something to keep you sane, and I'm going to help you do it by holding the baby while you do a few stitches. And
I love just
um,
in the comment she said, I sense a theme of babies that don't sleep. Yes.
yeah.
I actually do have a baby that naps now.
Oh, that's good.
And I love it so much because it was like, for the first almost year of life, he did not nap nearly as much as most babies. And now I get actual like work time in
Oh,
the day.
that's good.
naps. And he's like, where he's supposed to start dropping a nap. And I'm like, I just want to cling on to these 2 naps as long as I can.
Yeah.
Maria Lee said that's a true friend. That is so true.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. He is definitely that. I mean, I have since moved 3,000 miles from him, but yeah, he was and is a very good friend.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
sweet. So, what about your business now? You've been on a bit of a journey the last couple
I
years.
have. My design work has been taking a little bit of a backseat, although the ideas have not stopped. I have been filling sketchbooks with ideas, and I also, if you don't know, one of the things I like to do is write lace patterns based on words. And
Yeah.
sometimes if I only have like 15 or 20 minutes, I will open up the software and write a lace chart. So I've got hundreds of those that have not been knit or played with, but the software tells me that they're correct, but I don't know what they're going to look like knit up.
Yeah.
So I also, my husband was laid off a few years ago, and I had been looking for a more consistent way to help support the family, and I had been looking for work for a long time. And the feedback that I was given was there's too much design on your resume, which as a designer, trying to work as a designer did not make any sense to me at all. So I went to business school. So for, I would say, 2.5 years, there was not a whole lot of knitting design. When I graduated, I released 3 patterns that I had been sort of knitting here and there along the way. And then I got a full-time job, and now my knitting is on the train. So I could change the name of my business to Commuting to Work Knits.
Yeah.
But, it's all like, I'm very grateful to be working, and the job I have is in a creative environment, and the knitting will come, and it's not a contest. And when I finish designs, I can put them out into the world, and it's good. I'm in a good place.
And you just had like a really cool show.
Oh yeah, I did. My business school asked me to represent them in a fashion show for Brooklyn Fashion Week. So in the middle of all of that, and right as this was kind of launching, I was designing, like I designed all the looks, and then I designed the fabric, and then I also crocheted all of the jewelry and crocheted some of the garments for this collection that I produced for Fashion Week. So I would ride the train to work all day, ride the train home, sit at the sewing machine until midnight or be crocheting until midnight, and then repeat the whole thing. And then weekends were basically 14-hour days of just working straight through. My husband is a saint. He let me take over the dining room. He did all of the cooking and like all of the house stuff so that I could get it done. And it was, looking back, I can't believe I said yes, but at the same time, I'm so glad I did, because that feeling when I got to walk out onto the runway surrounded by the models and these things that I had designed was like, this is something I've always wanted to do since I was a child, and here I am, and this is the moment. And it was everything. So
That is so cool.
that was fun.
Yes. Okay. So tell us about your design now, or your design in general. What are your designs like? What's your style?
I would say I'm really interested in the interplay of color and texture. Most of my designs are very simple shapes. In many of them, I incorporate that encoded lace, but I tend to use bolder colors, simple shapes, and I'm basically painting with yarn. I went to art school at the very beginning, and so like color is always a huge part of it. My favorite thing that I've ever designed used assigned pooling.
Oh,
And that's one of the designs that's in the guide. It's my bobble hat.
yeah. Yes.
It's, like I just like I love the pink. I love the little balls. And here it is in my husband actually wore this one,
Yes.
which I love. It seems a little Dr. Seuss like to me because it's just kind of silly, but it just makes me happy to look at it.
And that's very
Um,
important to have things that make us happy.
yeah, exactly. This is my first design that I did after I came home from Vogue Knitting Live that one time. This is my Aspen hat. It's
And I
kind of
love
inspired by ski tracks.
oh,
Both of these yarns are from the Lemonade Shop. They do this cool yarn that it's like one main color and then there's like 20% of it that does this. This is Stormy Day. I don't remember what the colors are for the other one. I think this one is camo, the green one. But it's just like it's perfect for the way that I like to play with color.
yeah. We have a couple of comments here. Jessica said, I'm on Long Island. And musical seamstress said, Deb, I understand completely. I sew all day at work for customers, then I come home and sew for my customers and myself on the weekend.
That's a lot of sewing.
Yeah.
I also like my kit had been sitting around for a long time, and I haven't made a garment probably since graduate school because when I was working in costuming, like I had a costume shop at my disposal, so I wasn't actually pinning the clothes,
Yeah.
and I was using these terrible pins until I got new ones, and like my fingers were basically pin cushions. I'm like, I'm literally bleeding from my heart.
Goodness.
So
Yes.
I dropped my pumpkin pie shawl, but I want to show that too. This one is it's all lace, and one of the lace patterns spells pumpkin, and the other one spells pie.
Oh.
So, and I love the way the lace turned out, and like how delicate it is. It's a DK weight, so it doesn't like it's pretty quick. And all of my lace patterns are one row, and then you have a resting row, so you can like stop and put it down, and it's not like super complicated. I find them pretty easy to read if you think you might have made a mistake. I don't want it to be too complicated if people are knitting late at night.
Right. Yes. If they follow your brand name. uh, oh, I was just gonna comment on DK weight. I love DK weight. I feel like there are so many patterns in fingering weight, and we don't see DK weight. So I would not have guessed that that shawl was in fingering. It was in DK weight. I would have guessed that it was actually in fingering.
No, it's DK. I actually I forget something. I think in the first sample, like this one was the first sample, and I knit the whole thing, and then when I blocked it, I realized that there must have been a problem with the way I calculated the circle. So then I knitted a second one in yellow, but I don't like to use that as the photography sample because it has nothing to do with pumpkin.
Yes. Yes.
But I was like, oh no, I have to knit up another one, and like the release is coming. But it was not a problem because it's not fingering weight, and it didn't take me 3 months to do.
Yes. Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I had totally forgotten the encoded lace stuff. So when I was picking out patterns, I was like assuming it was related to the color of the yarn, and that's why I was by. So yes, I love, and that's something that I, especially historically, did a lot, with my designs is like for meaning behind things and like the and stuff like that. It's just like fun little elements to add into
Yeah.
the design, little surprise.
I mean, like, but it's like it's kind of like a little secret for me. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm sharing a piece of the secret
Yeah.
because I write the pattern based on the code, but then I manipulate it so that it's a pleasing symmetrical shape. So really, the only way you would know is if I told you, but I know.
Yeah.
So
Got
it's just
compliments in the chat. So beautiful and
oh, thank you so much. Hi, Mom. Ellen is my mom.
aw. Hi, Deb's mom.
She's my biggest fan.
Aw. Is she in
Yeah.
there?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
I'm working on converting her into a full knitter.
There you go. There you go. That's so fun. Do you have any more designs with you that you brought to show?
I have one sock, my fairground socks, which also I did not think photograph. I think one change I would like to make is I think I'm going to hire a professional photographer. Like I have some experience with photography, but I'm more focused on the knit, and I think a photographer would be more focused on like really getting the shot and showing it off. So I don't think that my photographs really show. Like you can't really
Yeah.
see the lace pattern in this.
Yeah.
These are my fairground socks. Um, Fun fact, I love shorty socks. It's probably going to have to get below 15 degrees before I'm going to put on a taller sock.
Yes.
So
And
I
that,
wear shorty socks all year round until I'm in danger of getting frostbite.
yes. Yes, I'm very much the same way. But yeah, like I said, we don't get that cold here. So I love a shorty. And it's so much faster to knit too.
It is, yeah. And you could get 2 pairs of socks out of a ball of yarn
Oh, yeah,
if you don't have terribly large feet.
definitely. On the note of photographers, I think especially if you can get like somebody who's specialized in, well, I don't know, product photography maybe isn't the specialty you want. I hired a photographer that did several, um, like I did one shoot, but several designs. And but I can't remember. I think she did like she was used to doing like brand photo shoots, but like like headshots, and then like regular family portrait kind of style. And so I felt like it was like they're beautiful photos, but she didn't know anything about like the knits or like making sure like, hey, it's actually like not cat pompous or things like that. So, um, yeah, that's just like my cautionary. Like, if you could
Yeah.
find someone who does knits specifically, that would be amazing.
That would be amazing. I mean, I know some people that do fashion photography, and maybe that'll help because they're used to
Yeah,
photographing for,
that's so true.
like,
Especially with the styling stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Before I turn over the floor to someone else, I just want to thank you for doing this because knitting design is such a solitary process, or it can be. And I love the community that you've built and like having these, even though I don't get to attend very often, knowing that there's a community out there and people to talk to. And so like when there are recordings available, I do sometimes watch them. And it's nice to be able to talk to other people who are passionate and that are on the same journey. So thank you.
Absolutely. Yes. Well, thank you so much. I don't think we actually have other designers who showed up. So if you want to ramble about anything else, you're more than welcome.
I can show you something that I'm working on
Yeah,
that is becoming a little bit of a tale of woe. I got this beautiful chainette yarn that I love, and I designed this cute little V-neck t-shirt that's almost done. Isn't that fun? Like, I love the colors. There's no lace in this either, but it's just like 2 colors of stripes. There's a pink and an orange with the turquoise, and then it goes down into the ribbing. I realized partway through that it's an Italian yarn, and now with the tariffs, it's getting really hard to get it over here. So I think I need to find an American source for a yarn like this and redo the sample because I don't think it makes sense to put out a pattern in something that can only be purchased for a lot of dollars and a lot of tariff money from overseas. So.
I'm like to the point where I've done enough designing with like indie design that now several of them have gone out of business, and it makes me so sad. I mean, it makes me sad for them, obviously, but also like I'm sad that people can't go get that yarn now, and I know and now the people who are like, they use, say Malabrigo or bigger box store kind of like things that are in all of the yarn or even at Michael's or something like that, or Knit Picks or something where they're just always available.
Yeah. And it's really cool. It's a merino and a cotton, so it's kind of like it has this wonderful drape to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to finish it and I'm going to wear it, but I feel like I have to reknit the sample and write the pattern for a different yarn. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, kind of breaks your heart. Like, do you pick what's your process for your designs? Do you pick the yarn or the design first?
it depends. Sometimes I just find a yarn and I'm like, oh, I have a really great idea for that. And sometimes as I'm doodling and sketching, like this one, I came up with the design first and then found the yarn that I knew I wanted it to be bright stripes and I knew I wanted it to like be a lightweight sweater. So the merino and cotton was perfect. So this was a case of I designed it first and then found the yarn
And it's
and
like,
then fell in love with the yarn as the thing.
yeah, the yarn is like the perfect sauce to create the thing you wanted to create.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll still create it, and yeah, I can take pictures in it, but I mean, I'm going to have to change the numbers and the because I'm sure when I switch, the gauge is going to be different and the drape is going to be different and all of that stuff. But
Ah.
that's the process, right?
It
It's when we
is.
work with slow fashion,
That's,
things
yep,
can change faster than we can.
absolutely. Absolutely. But that also means that our things last a long time. So,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this hat is about to be 8 years old.
yes.
So, and
Yes.
I didn't lose it, which is amazing.
Yes, right. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. Do you keep all of your design samples?
Um, and I'm getting like unless moths get to them, and then then they go. I
Mhm.
have had a moth problem with a few things, but fortunately, I did a spiral poncho that I don't have handy, but I made two samples, and I always wash things in wool wash before I put them in the and I have sealed bags that I put them in, but things get in. So I have one sample that's still good, and I'm like guarding it. And I have taken to baking all of my yarn, and I might start baking my samples before I put them away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I had like I had, what is it? The baby moths? I don't know. Anyway, I had those show up, but I didn't have any damage from moths. So
Oh,
I
you're lucky.
clean up all of everything,
Yeah,
process, put it in the freezer, everything.
yeah. I mean, everything is bagged.
Mhm.
Sometimes I let my samples. I mean, I wear them, and sometimes I let them stay out too long before I wash them, and I'm sure that's probably part of the problem that they're not getting cleaned right away and just put immediately into a sealed container.
Mhm. So annoying. Your mom asked, why does baking work?
I read that so it's not actually the moths that are in the yarn, it's the larvae that are eating the yarn and causing the damage. And one of the strategies is you can put your yarn in the freezer for several days, let it defrost, and then freeze it again. But I have read that that's not always 100% effective, and to be sure that you're killing the larva, you need to bring the temperature up to above 110 degrees for 30 minutes. So that is why I bake my yarn. If it comes into the house, it goes into the oven and then it goes into a sealed plastic bag, so that if there is a contaminant, it's not going to get to the rest of my stash, which
Yeah.
has become quite an investment.
Yeah.
I
Oh.
have more designs than I can probably physically knit in my lifetime, and more yarn than I can probably knit in my lifetime. Unless I live a very long time, which I hope I do.
Yes, yes. Your mom said, "Mm, frozen baked larva.
Yum!
Yum yum." Oh, well, it was so fun to have you on here. Jessica, if you're still on and you want to hop back on, you're welcome to show us new design on your thing, or you have if you have a new design ready to show, is what I was trying to say. I was getting distracted. Um, or if you have any of the baby hats to show. We have a couple more comments, I think, on the larva. Maria Lee said, I feel very seen. Oh, no, she's talking about the ideas. I feel very seen with both the ideas and the yarn. Maria Lee's also has some beautiful design, sock designs. She does lots of socks. And then somebody else said, join the crowd with face card. Oh,
Yes.
why is there so many, this is very much a rhetorical question, obviously. Why are there so many beautiful yarns, so many fun ideas and creative things to do? And it's fun, but you can't chase it all.
I think it's so great that you're saying that after starting your journey by thinking that you weren't creative.
Yes. Yes, my whole thing now is I'm like, actually, every human being is creative. And I think there's a lot of things societally, education wise, that maybe stifle that some. Like my whole story is actually in fifth grade. I remember my art teacher, I had like done this painting that I was so proud of, and this animal, and I got like a B on the project. And obviously, this tells you what kind of a student I was. But I was totally devastated. I was like, I'm just like, I'm never gonna be able to draw. I'm never gonna be able to be an artist, or like that kind of thing. And I never did like art classes after, the required ones and things like that. I just was like, all right, I can't be artsy. I can't be creative. I'm just like
Oh,
math-minded person instead. So
that's so sad.
now I preach to the choir, like everybody's creative. Like you just kind of have to find that in yourself. And it looks different. Like I kind of maybe had pent up this idea of like creativity has to be like being good at sketching or painting things. Like I can paint like big modern stuff like this. This is not my painting, but I can do stuff like that. I can't do like the fine whatever. But that doesn't mean that I'm not creative, and that's something beautiful that I have learned. Um,
That's good.
Jessica's gonna share some new socks.
Excellent. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for joining and for being part of the guide and everything. It's lovely to see.
Nice to see you too. Bye.
Okay,
Bye,
but
everybody.
uh, and then let's see here. Doop, doop, doop. Get Jessica again. Okay, and then Maria Elise had said, absolutely, everyone is creative. They might just not have found how it comes into being for them. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And like, a lot of people they talk about, like just knitting is a creative work. Like you're bringing together colors and all the different things too. And Jessica, you said you only sketch for submissions. I have some very rough things like in my design notebook that are like I kind of know what they mean. They have a lot of arrows and descriptions on them. But yeah, I like sketch things out for fun usually.
Yeah, no, I am not a sketcher. Like Deb was saying, like I paint with yarn, I create with yarn. It's not connected the same to me. Like in order to sketch, I would have had to swatch it myself first to get a feel for like how the stitches move and all of that. So I'll sketch if I do a submission. I don't do many because I hate sketching. And I don't like, the super tight deadlines and stuff don't work well with my, we'll call it a process.
Yeah, I
um,
with that. A lot of times I don't know, I just feel like my design process, my ideation process doesn't work well with like, oh, they want like this kind of thing that fits all these different boxes and like no, I want
yeah.
something.
Right. But I wanted to share my socks.
Yes.
Um, these were not sketched in any way. There was no sketch. So they're a DK weight sock. So they were just published yesterday. So they didn't make it into the guide because they're brand new. The guide was already created. So they have this fun, like a crossed, like 1/1 crossed stitch, which is really easy to create. They're really easy to customize because the back is stockinette. So the design is on the top of the foot and then on the leg. So if you need to like add more stitches or subtract some stitches, it's kind of easy to do that in the stockinette section without worrying about, you know, messing up the design, right? If you have like an 18 stitch, lace pattern or cable pattern across a sock that's repeated, it's hard to adjust socks with that. So I put in that stockinette to make it easy so that people can customize them. And I have a newfound love for DK weight socks because they knit up so much faster than fingering weight socks. And they're cozy and they still fit in my shoes. That was something someone else asked me, will the socks still fit in my shoes? So that was just released. They're called the Luckiest Socks. And yeah, they're knit with bed sheep yarn and so another hand-dyed yarn company. They were in Alaska is where they started, and now they're in Florida. So like you, a big change of, climate and everything else. And another quick project I did this as a challenge from the Knit Happy Summit. It was a mosaic knit coaster,
Hmm.
which is a fun, quick, like if you need like a housewarming gift or something for someone. They use scraps of yarn. It's a DK weight also, but you could easily make it with worsted or, increase the repeat and make it with fingering. So whatever you have on hand, you can use and have a nice little gift. It's not feminine or masculine, so whoever your recipient is. And then the pattern that is in progress matches the shawl behind me. So that hasn't gone to tech editing yet, but that's what's next. It's called Color Crush, and it uses scraps of yarn. So this is from like mini skeins or just whatever you have left over from socks. And then I was playing with the yarn colors are going to look familiar with making it a heavier hat for the colder weather. So there is the same design just in the two colors and then reversed. So one skein of each color. I had plenty left. I was able to make the two hats out of that by reversing the colors and then made the coaster all
That's
from the
so
same
fun.
yarn. And there's still more left. So that's what's coming up from me. That'll be the next pattern that gets released after it gets tech edited and test knit. So I'm hoping for a December release or an early January release, seeing how all of that timing goes. But that's
So cool. They're all
yeah.
so beautiful. And is the shawl behind you, has it already been released?
Yes, this is a couple years old. It's a crescent shawl, and it was knit with one skein of fingering and then 5 minis. And I had a lot of minis left, so we have some fringe that coordinates. And it's a crescent shell that's knit by knitting the rectangle first. So you cast on a lot of stitches. I apologize in advance for the stitch count. But my favorite tip for that is when you have to cast on a ton of stitches, is to cast on with the two ends of your cake of yarn so that you don't have to estimate your long tail for 300 plus stitches. So you use the inside and the outside or two balls of yarn, but with this you probably only would have the one. So unless you split it for some reason or are working from scraps. So you don't have to estimate for the long tail cast on. You can just cast on and mark, like use a stitch marker every like 25 or 50 stitches so that you don't have to count to 300. Nobody should count to 300.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, so it's knit the rectangle and then there's some easy short row shaping, but because it's garter stitch, it is short rows made with knit decrease stitches. So knit two together and slip, slip, knit. So there's no wrapping and turning or German short rows or any of that stuff. You just decrease to close the gap and then turn your work and decrease to close the gap. So I enjoyed it. It's great for those scraps of yarn, or you can use um, and just do two full skeins of fingering if you're not a scrappy person, then you can do it that way. But it's inspired by just we all have those color crushes, right? Like those colors that we're drawn to of the season or just of our life, and so it's a great way to use up those little bits of yarn that scrappy projects are fun also, I think, because sometimes those scraps remind us of like other things. Like these are the scraps from those socks that I love to wear, or the scraps from that sweater that I made, or that blanket I made for someone. So it's a nice way to incorporate them, to use what's in your stash, so you don't have to always buy new yarn. Or feel free to treat yourself. I'm not going to talk anyone out of buying yarn.
Yes. Well,
I'm
and
not a hypocrite.
this time of year, a lot of people have Advent yarn too that they
Yeah.
are using as well. So it's perfect time of year. Did you say
Yeah.
what the name of that shawl was?
Color Crush.
Oh, right.
So
Obviously.
this
We were just
is
talking
this
about
is
it.
the yeah, this is the Color Crush shawl. So it's already published. It's on my Ravelry and my Payhip. The hat has the same name, Color Crush hat, Color Crush shawl, because it's the same stitch, but reimagined in a different way. The shawl is knit flat and the hats are knit in the round. So you know, sometimes you find a stitch that you love and you want to incorporate it into different ways to use it. So I was inspired to make the hat next.
Yes.
Yeah.
Somebody had a comment back here that I meant to share. Well,
Oh.
Deb had said, love that collar work. This was way back on their sketching conversation.
Oh yeah.
I have many clothing designs that I have drawn and sketched out that I have had to write down the descriptions because I can't sketch out what I see in my head. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, the sketching thing for me, I took a class on grading sweater patterns, which is when you knit, like say you knit your size or you knit a specific size, but then you need to do the math because you want to publish it in different sizes, a range of sizes. And so the first like week or two of the class was like the ideation phase and sketching, and she made me sketch. She said, you're going to sketch like 5 or 6 designs, different constructions and things like that. And then like one of them will kind of rise to the top as the one that you actually want to move forward with the knitting and the grading and all of that. And I already knew in my head, like, this is the direction I want to go. So I had to like come up with 4 other ideas that I could maybe possibly do. So, we do what we have to, right?
Yeah.
And it was a wonderful class and I learned so much from it, but it did not make me fall in love with sketching.
It did not do the trick. That's fun. Alrighty, well, we are already past the top of the hour, so we should wind it up so that
Yeah.
anyone watching the replay isn't here for a million hours too. Is there anything else that you think we need to say about the holiday gift guide?
Um, yeah, just the things we've said. So it's beautiful, it's curated, it's fun, it's free. There's a discount on the patterns that are featured in the guide, and it's on the second page, I think you said, of the guide. So look for that
Yeah.
because we created the code so that you could all enjoy that, because we wanted to treat you, because you're working so hard right now for making gifts for yourself or for others, and so you deserve a little treat, whether it's a discount on a pattern that you have your eye on, or a pattern for yourself. Use the code now and pick something to knit for yourself when you're done with all the other gifts that you're working on, because you deserve to treat yourself. I like to tell my students that they are the most knit-worthy person that they know, because you know the work that goes into it, the cost of the yarn, the years of trying to learn how to do the thing, and all of that stuff. So make
Yeah.
something for yourself too. Don't forget to put yourself on the list.
And that's also what the gifts sprinkled throughout are for. So if
Yes.
you're gift knitting, these are also your gift to yourself, or our gift to you, really.
Yes.
Yeah, so go ahead and check out Holiday Guide if you have not. It is linked in my bio at Snickerdoodle Knits. It is also, there's a banner at the top of my website, snickerdoodleknits.com. Deb said thank you. You are so welcome. And Jessica. Jessica. Yes. Thank you, Deb. And thank you, Deb, for joining us for the live too.
Yes, it
We're
was so nice to meet you, Deb.
Thank you all for a fun chat, and congratulations on beautiful patterns. Have to run. Thank you so much for joining us, Maria Elise. It's always, Maria Elise has been a long time supporter of my work, and so it's been really fun to watch her start designing as well.
Oh, that's fun. And Jackie, if you're still watching, thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, thank
Jackie's
you
a
to everybody, everybody who joined us
yes.
through the call. It's fun, and we appreciate your comments and your support and your questions and all the things. So, yeah, check out the holiday gift guide. Give these lovely designers a follow, and we'll catch you again sometime. Hopefully
Okay.
before too long.
Take care and happy Thanksgiving to those our American friends that may be celebrating this coming week.
Yes, yes. All right. Yes. Good night.
Good night. We're done.
All right. Bye
All right, bye.
bye.